Call to order this work session for February 17, 2015. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Dominic, Johnson, Williams, Lynn, Bowman, Baker,
Here.
Gage Watts, Escaday, Thibodeau, Cox, Smith, Epperson.
Yeah.
Okay,
We have a quorum, Mr. President.
okay. If I would get Commissioner Dominique to do the invocation and Commissioner Epperson to do the pledge.
All right, please.
Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to be here today. Watch over and protect us. Forgive us in our many sins. Forgive us in our failures and faults. Just be with us as we go forward with today's business. I ask and pray that you'll be with each and every one of us as commissioners, as our administration and our staff, but most of all, for our citizens and residents of Caddo Parish, and that we will do the best we can. I always remember that your will be done, and thank you for all the wonderful things you've done. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's face the flag, render the proper salute, repeat the pledge in unison. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any agenda additions? Seeing that there are none. Citizen comments. Citizens who wish to address the commission must fill out a comment card and forward to the president or the clerk of the commission. I do have one visitor card. You have any other cards?
No.
Okay. Mr. Billy Wayne, could you give us your name and your address?
Yes, sir. President Johnson, and to the members of this commission, my name is Billy Wayne, and I am the Executive Director of the Urban Support Agency, Inc., 9051 Mansfield Road, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71118. I am here today in addition to one of our community partners, Mr. Richard Graham. We are here today to respectfully ask that the commission restore some of the funding that we lost in our appropriation monies through this commission. For the last 3 years, the Urban Support Agency has provided academic tutoring as well as skills enrichment, as well as charm and etiquette program activities to over 150 students in this parish. When we received our appropriation amount of $10,000 officially about 2 weeks ago, we were told we were cut to $10,000, which represented basically a 65% cut in our funding. The issue was we had already planned and put our program pieces in place, because when we were notified in December that we had been awarded the funds, we were not aware of the fact that the funds had been cut. So we began to put our pieces in place. We had our contractors who provide the services for the children. We had those persons in place, and then we received the cut. So we are here today asking that you help us continue to help the children in this parish by allowing us to receive the additional amount that we were cut. We gratefully acknowledge and say thank you for you providing us these funds over the past few years, and we prayerfully request that we continue this affiliation. Thank you.
Okay.
And
thank
let me say I apologize. I have an executive meeting and I hate to speak and leave, but if there are any questions.
Well, we can't ask questions.
Okay,
right
I'm
now.
sorry. Thank you.
So, we appreciate you coming, Mr. Wayne. There are no other visitors, so next item, Mr. Clerk.
We have no visitors. We move to the reports. Administrators report.
Sir. President Johnson, Commissioners, good afternoon. We have several items today. The first one up for discussion is we've been made aware that the state is getting ready to make some cuts that will directly impact us. So what I'd like to do is bring forth Mr. Clay Walker and Judge Manlock to talk about the impact it's going to have on Caddo Parish and our Juvenile Services Department.
Good afternoon, Mr. President and Commissioners. I wanted to alert you, we learned last Wednesday, I believe, from the Public Defender Office that the State Public Defender Board was cut $5.1 million this year, which is going to result in about a $530,000 cut for Caddo, which is going to result in loss of staff, reduction in pay for the staff of the public defenders, and ultimately possibly constituents that may go unrepresented. So Judge Matlock and Ben Politz are here. Mr. Politz is this year's president of the Shreveport Bar. Of course, you all know Judge Matlock, but they wanted to speak to you about the possible impact that would be on our citizens.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Wilson, and greetings from 1825 Spring Street, which you all so graciously provide for us. $500,000 out of one parish's public defender office is a devastating blow. They are planning to, the local board is planning to cut salaries by 12% of all of their staff, including from the secretaries, administrative help, through the lawyers. Those folks don't make a lot of money as it is, and it's a devastating cut for them, and it's a little bit out of the blue. This is not a strange event. At Baton Rouge, y'all have experienced the cuts in state funding. This is another one. It's fairly draconian in this instance. They are also planning on eliminating the conflict board downtown, which is the panel of paid attorneys who handle cases when the public defender's office itself has a conflict. And I believe it was suggested that the misdemeanor representation may also be eliminated or drastically cut. And this will have several impacts. I noticed in the Pledge of Allegiance today, as it has been since it was adopted by this country, that it ends with "and justice for all." And it's not "and justice for all" who can afford it or who can pay for an attorney. Having good quality representation affects the people's trust in the system, and ultimately it affects their respect for the rule of law. This is a very important thing, and I did not want, the bar will be required to step in and fill the gap. Bennett Politz is the president of the Shreveport Bar Association. I've spoken in the last few days to the president of the State Bar Association, Larry Shea, who some of y'all may know. He's a local attorney, about this issue, and things are being done from the state. We are asking for a relatively short term, probably 2 years, but in the range of 1 to 3 year help. And we would like to add, I would like to add a conflict panel for juvenile court. So I'm really asking for what amounts to $650,000 from the Parish Commission per year. And it's important, and I want to be able to stand before folks and say that I've asked. And I'm here to answer questions. It's not a popular thing, and I was thinking, this is the kind of thing that we have adults in the room governing for. This is the kind of decisions that our forefathers stood up for, and I don't mean to overemphasize it, but these are not popular decisions. It's not popular to stand up and represent, but I'm telling you that my philosophic call is to help poor folks and widows and orphans and visit people in prison and sick. And this is just one of those things that we have to do as members of a civilized society. And it's not fun, it's not glamorous, but it's rewarding. And I'm here to answer questions, if y'all have any. And with my hands out as usual. So.
Okay, we got some commissioners that want to answer some questions. Commissioner
Just suspend
Dominic.
the rules to be here.
And Bennett would, I'm sure, be glad also.
Pardon me, I know, my bad.
Hey, Doug. Commissioner.
Judge, thank you. A couple questions. How does the state public defender board funded right now? I mean, how do other states do it versus our state? It's my understanding that we do it through our speeding tickets. A certain percentage of every speeding ticket, I guess, is allocated. I guess it goes.
You know those really high traffic tickets that we pay,
Yeah.
like $300 for going 10 or 15 miles over. That a lot of that funding goes for it. There are some state funds that are allocated. A lot of the state monies really honestly get eaten up in capital defense in murder cases. A lot of the costs are spent. Clay knows more of the details about all of that than I do. Other states have similar systems, some better, some maybe worse.
My understanding and my recollection, each parish contributes its own amount, and then the state contributes the district assistance fund, which tops off every parish. But you take basically your ticket money and you have a certain amount. Say we come up with $1 million from our speeding tickets. The state then gives additional funds, those funds that are being cut. As far as I know, we're the only state that does the speeding ticket funding. It may be 2 or 3, but it's the only one that I recall that does through the speeding tickets.
But when we do the speeding tickets, the money, I guess, is when you pay through the court, the DA, whoever gets that money, they send it to the state. And of course, a certain percentage goes to crime lab. It's a bunch of different entities other than the public defenders that goes to your speeding ticket. I guess that was one question. And then my second question was on the 5.1 million. What is that a percentage? You said it's 5.1. Do we know, is that 10% of the budget, or do we know how much percentage of the budget they're cutting?
I don't. I can find out and get that for you in the next couple of days.
And
one thing I did want to mention, Orleans already funds their parish. The parish, Orleans, funds their public defender about $800,000 already. And if this parish funds Caddo, that money does not then get supplanted or doesn't supplant other state money. In other words, it doesn't cause us to lose our portion of state funding if there is local funding.
well,
That's a commitment that we've gotten from the head of that association.
and I guess my other comment would be that we see all the doom and gloom as far as the budget in the state of Louisiana, and we hear about the cuts in higher education or the cuts in health care, but we haven't heard too much about this. And of course, this is just now coming about, but this is a very important issue, because I guess the next question is, how is this going to affect us? Which I think the answer to that is,
Appointments, for one thing.
if we don't have public defenders, then you're going to be calling Doug Dominic to be appointed to represent, and then in the district court, Judge Pittman or whoever will be appointing us as lawyers. That's one thing. And I don't mind doing it. I mean, I was appointed last week or a couple weeks ago to the juvenile. But the other thing is,
Already,
if the thing is not moving expeditiously, we're going to have more people in detention center. We're going to have more people in CCC, which is going to cost. That's going to ultimately be the biggest cost to the parish.
It is.
Is housing additional inmates
at CCC primarily, but it will also have an effect on.
And I think that's what this board really needs to know, that the biggest effect that it's going to have is going to be with the inmates in CCC.
And ultimately, somebody's going to have to pay those lawyers. A little bit of appointments, the lawyers will absorb, but when it becomes, when it amounts to a taking, then they're entitled to a certain amount of recovery for that, and someone is going to have to pay for that, whether it's the state or the parish or a combination of that. But it's really going to hit the lawyers, and it will hit, and it's much more efficient to have a public defender system that does that, because they're just more efficient. They're there. They're not going to have to spend an hour reading the juvenile code prior to an appointment. I mean, when you get appointed and it's out of the blue, whereas if it's something you're doing every day, you're coming to the same spot, you're not going to have to make a special trip. It's just much more efficient to do it. And it's quality representation. We have good public defenders in this parish. I know I do in my court. I'm proud of them. And I'm proud to have them, and I'm scared I'm going to lose them.
I think the other thing is we just need to realize this probably needs to be one of those top priorities that we need to talk when we have our legislative session to see what they can do. Of course, I think the legislators are going to probably come back and say, look, there's going to be cuts, and I don't know where that's going to happen. So
you're not going to be alone talking to them. Also, yeah. I will tell you that, and this is a statewide issue. Caddo is not the only parish to be impacted. And folks are already approaching other folks in Baton Rouge, but I just wanted to give y'all the opportunity to fill the gap, so to speak. And like I said, Orleans is already paying $800,000. We've got some trying to find out additional information about what other parishes are already paying.
It's kind of not the most popular thing, but funding the public defender.
It's not. It's not popular. It's not popular to stand up here and ask for it, but it's important and it's right. And at the end of the day, I know most of y'all very well. That's what matters to you. So, you wouldn't be here.
I think I've got all my questions answered. I appreciate y'all coming today.
Commissioner Thibodeau.
Does the parish currently contribute anything
No.
to the public defender? And is this
There may be some space.
Yes.
in kind?
We provide their accounting. I talked to Erica Bryant the other day. because each of the public defenders get a check, because I asked Erica this the other day, I'm sorry to step in, but the check is made payable from the Caddo Parish Commission, each public defender gets. We basically do their payroll, so they don't have to outsource a third party. The money that comes to the state, I guess, goes to the parish to a special fund, and we basically pay them, but we're not coming out or giving them $100,000.
But you do save them a lot of money by
Saves
doing
them
that
probably
and some other
$50,000
in-kind
a year.
contributions.
Yes, sir, we do the accounting. You know, we did, we received a letter from Mr. Goldman and asked him for some help, so we waived the accounting fee for the last 2 or 3 years to allow them some extra additional money. Certainly, that's about $50,000 a year for 3 years.
All right, and do we, does this public defender work only in the district court or also in the city court?
It would be city as well, and this will impact city as well. It's going to have a big impact in city court and district court and juvenile court.
Are you going to go to the city and try to get a little money from them?
I plan to. And again, I'm just informing of the need.
Right.
I'm not,
Right.
but I would certainly intend to inform the city council as well.
Okay, and 150 of what you're asking is for juvenile, is that correct? You said
120.
650,000,
Yes,
so about
530 plus 120.
Okay, 120 was the portion for juvenile.
A portion of that 12% rate, a portion of the 530, I'm asking for 650. 120 of that is for the conflict panel for juvenile court. A portion of the $530,000 would help prevent, or would prevent, the 12% pay cuts across the board for all of their administrative and legal staff and lawyers.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Commissioner Escudé.
Hey, Judge,
Hi, how are you, Commissioner?
when are these, when is this taking place?
It's a little bit staggered. July 1 for the 12% cuts, April 1, I believe, for the elimination of the conflict panel and the misdemeanor representation.
I'm afraid that you are the first of many who are gonna
I'm afraid I am too.
before us. You talk about these are draconian cuts. I mean, it's gonna be statewide and it's gonna be in everything. Unfortunately, over the last 7 years, we've had the administration out there's pledged no news taxes, and then they haven't, but they've just sold out just about every asset we had that could be sold, bartered, mortgaged, or leveraged, and there's nothing left. So there's going to be a lot of pain involved. Hopefully, we can find some way to bridge this and get through this, because everything's not permanent. You know.
We will. We recovered from slavery, from yellow fever, from Civil War, from Reconstruction. We've recovered from Jim Crow. We've recovered from the Great Depression. We've recovered from whatever this last depression or recession was, and World War II and World War I and the Great Flu. We're going to recover from this.
Well, I understand.
But it's because we're who we are.
Well, we will, and we'll work it out eventually. You know, my preference to recovering from these type of things is through prosperity and economic development, job creation. That provides the means for which we can plug these holes, and if we concentrate our efforts on that. But anyway, I'm not deaf to what you're saying. Mr. Thibodeau brought up a good point. The city should be invested in this. It affects them, probably more so really than the parish, other than the jail, because most of them residents of the city, and of course it is one and the same. But anyway, hopefully we can work out something. I don't want to back up from the progress we've made at juvenile in particular over the last many years, you know, and everybody's worked hard on that, and there was some pain involved in that. But over the next, I guess, few weeks, we're just going to see what else comes our way, and there's going to be some hard choices you're made. You're right. And I think the presentation today was great. You next time you talk in the city, I'd leave out the point about the people that really suffer, the lawyers. I don't think you're going to get a lot
I
of
know,
sympathy.
I know.
Yeah.
It's the truth. That's not the most compelling
Yeah,
argument.
in the main, yeah,
I do
yeah. So
accept
maybe
that.
you want to revisit that approach, but I'm sympathetic to it. But other than that, appreciate you coming. It's good to see you.
Very good to see you as well, Commissioner. Any other?
Yes, myself and then Mr. Dominic is coming back for his second round. But do you happen to know what's the rate for the public defender? The charge with the state supplements them to pay?
Each defendant is asked to pay $40.
Each defendant pays $40.
That's my understanding, is they pay $40 fee to the public defender office.
Okay.
If they can afford it.
Yeah.
If they can, it can be waived.
So how much does the public defender make off the?
I don't know, we'd have to ask Alan Golden that.
All right,
It's
well-
not a lot.
Well, get back with me on that one.
Okay.
The conflict board that you asked about, there was one in the district court,
It is.
and does that also look at the city court, or is this strictly the district court?
I don't know that they have that they use that conflict panel at city court.
I don't know.
Okay, so next question is, can the conflict board go for all three courts?
I'd like to see that.
So
It will
same
cost
board.
some more money to do it, but I would like to see that. I know I'd like to see it at juvenile.
Okay.
And I think that's, if it goes to city, that's something the city obviously needs to be
Right,
involved with.
okay. I guess, what are the costs for the conflict board? I mean, why would it cost $120,000? My question.
I believe they're talking about 3 or 4 attorneys that would need to be involved. If I'm the public defender and I get appointed 2 kids rob one facility, I get appointed for one, I'm conflicted out with the other, so you have to get another attorney. That's the conflict panel. One of the things that's good about that is, I think the judge was talking about, is that
Come on up to the mic.
they specialize. A lot of these cases, part of the problem is, you can be a tax attorney, a bankruptcy attorney, some other kind, divorce lawyer, and you get appointed on a criminal case or a juvenile case, and you don't know that area of the law. It's like going to a pulmonologist for your kidney problem. They're both doctors, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay. That's all I had. Second round, Commissioner Dominic.
I just give a little example. We were in juvenile court the other day, and there was obviously a conflict because we don't have the conflict panel there. There was 5 private attorneys that were appointed for 5 different defendants because of the conflict.
And you realize every one of those attorneys has probably spent an hour and a half trying to get a hold of their client, figuring out what's going on. It's just, that's very inefficient as a service delivery system.
Right. What about the Capella? I guess that's the one that the public defender, I guess, has a contract, or they fund that. Is that being cut also, Clay? Do you know? That's the more the violent crimes.
I don't know if they're being cut as part of this. I think what's recently been in the paper is unrelated. But that's the death penalty cases that are separate from the public defender office, but funded through the public defender system.
Yeah, I was just wondering if they were going to be cut too.
I'm sure they are. The 5.1, as I understand, is going to be
for the local part.
My understanding is it's kind of proportional to every parish. East Baton Rouge, Orleans, Jefferson will get hit harder than the smaller, but that 5.1 is going to be spread around. We learned about this last Wednesday. I mean, all these questions that Commissioner Johnson has that y'all have, we can meet with the head of our public defender board here, Alan Golden, meet with our juvenile chief, with Kristen Bernard, get with him and get some more of these answers and bring them to you.
Thank you.
Next item, Dr. Wilson.
Thank you, Clay. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ben.
Commissioner, you should have gotten at your stations a How to Do Business with Caddo Parish seminar. We'll be having it in here on February 26th. We do it every year, and we invite all the local vendors that we do business with. We go over any changes. We have the state business folks come and also be a part of that. So that will be taking place on 26th. And just for another, the item 3 is a reminder to you all.
Well, hold on. Item 2, we got a commissioner that want to.
Okay.
What about the NGOs meeting?
Yeah, we're going to set something up.
That's a different
It's
meeting.
different?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a
It's
different meeting.
Valerie's doing this one. But typically, you know, we're gonna meet with the NGOs. And Donna, you wanna say anything on that? Should I? Okay.
No, I would defer to Commissioner Epperson as
okay.
head of that committee.
That's a different meeting, but I do have another question
Well,
on.
you say that's Commissioner Epperson. Call.
I said I would defer to him as to any information on it, as he is the head of that committee.
As far as having a meeting with
NGOs
NGOs.
and CDOs.
I thought we had decided that we were gonna do that. We wanted it done.
Yeah, the question is, I mean, when y'all told us that, usually during the application process, we meet with them before they submit the application. We can meet with them right after you all finish with the applications. So we need some directions on that. Which one would be preferable, to meet with them during the process or after the award is made? Because we just sent everybody a letter out as to what they received, and also the ones who didn't get anything. We did that about a month ago.
Now, clarify that, I think last year I talked to Attorney Frazier about having a meeting prior to the cooperative endeavor agreement, so that they would understand what they can use the money for, what they cannot use the money for.
Okay.
So they won't be surprised when they send them a letter saying that you can't use the money for this amount. So that was the meeting, was for the NGOs and CBOs on that.
I thought that was scheduled, so.
We hadn't scheduled it yet.
We already got to see, Commissioner Epperson.
Donna's too late to schedule that. We can do it anytime. We can do it. We'll just talk to Commissioner Epperson, and if that's the board's pleasure, we'll go forward and call them all in and explain that to them.
Okay. I do have a question on the how to do business with Caddo Parish.
Yes, sir.
Have we advertised this in any of the local newspapers or anything?
I have to check with Valerie. I know she sent all the vendors that we
What
had.
is he?
Oh, Valerie? I didn't see you back there. Sorry about that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, President.
Have we gone out and done any advertising in the local newspapers to try to get some people who are not doing business with the parish interested in doing business?
Yes, it will be in the Shreveport Sun, and we've also sent it to, I sent it to the City of Shreveport, the school board offices, my counterparts in the purchasing department, and through MSI, and they've sent it out to their vendors. And currently, we have about 30 folks that have registered. The first time we presented this seminar, we had about 67, so we're looking for another full house. And also with the Shreveport Chamber. They've sent it out on our behalf as well.
All right, and it's also on our website. Right?
It's on our website.
Thank you. Commissioner Evans.
Does that finish your report?
No, sir, I still have a couple of,
Okay, well.
a couple other items.
Third item.
Okay, the third item, just a reminder about the legislative priorities. We haven't been getting a lot of those, so the date of the legislative luncheon is March 13th. And we'd like for you all to, if you have anything, to give us that, so we can go ahead and get the list back to you all so you can review it. So we know one thing will be on there is this public defender's issue, asking them to look at that and perhaps giving us some relief on that. And anything else you all may have pertinent. I understand also the hotel motel tax may be on that list as well. So those are the things we want to put back on the list and give to the legislature. We'll meet with them on March the 13th at 11:30 a.m. at the Petroleum Club.
What time?
11:30 a.m. on March the 13th at the Petroleum Club on the 15th level.
Commissioner Baker, you have something pertaining to point 3?
It's afterwards.
Okay. Are you through?
Yes, sir. My last item, just to let you know, you should have your positions again. The Small and Emerging Business Initiative Annual Report. That a few years ago, the ordinance was passed requiring the administrator to present you this report each year. And this is a report for 2014, how well we did towards our goal of working on emerging businesses, helping develop emergency businesses. And that concludes my report for today.
Okay. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next we move
It is, where's the administration question?
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Baker.
March 13th. 13th,
Comcast, can you get, I've got a constituent told me today that, you know, Comcast have this little box where you can put your bill in it, where you're paying your bill, like a check or something, you put it in this little night box, drop box, whatever.
Okay.
And they told me that they found out today that if you put your bill in that box and say it's due today, then you're gonna get, it could possibly get cut off, or you're gonna get charged a late fee, because instead of them taking those bills out of there, opening those envelopes and processing the bill, they gather them up and they mail them and ship them off to Atlanta, Georgia. And that's versus you going inside paying the bill at the window. And no explanation or nothing, they didn't get any warning or information about that, so if you can find out some information on that and kind of find out what's going on with that, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am, we will.
And the second thing, I just wanted to get clarity on this NGO meeting, because I thought we had decided to fix this. Are we gonna have it, or are we not gonna have it?
Certainly, we are prepared to have it. We would invite all those recipients that were awarded to come in the chamber, and we can talk to them. Certainly, if that's the pleasure of the chair over there, we'll do that.
So it's up to the chair if we have it.
And if that's the directive you're giving us, we do it.
I'm just trying to find out if we're gonna have it or not. Because we have so many problems by mid-year, and even especially when time for those financial reports to be turned in. We have so many problems, so many issues with the people getting in trouble because they've done the wrong thing with the money.
For the group that got awarded money for this year, we will have it.
We're gonna have it. How soon?
Set up earliest convenience.
I'll address that.
Okay.
Are you through?
That's it. Thank you.
Oh, is that right?
Commissioner Evans?
I just want
Ms. Gunn, did I understand you?
She left.
Oh, are we doing a press release on this?
We can, Mr. Everson.
Okay, let's do a press release too. I didn't hear her say that. I'm assuming maybe an ad, but let's do a press release
We will.
on the how to do business with the parish.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see, Mr. Glass or Jimmy, the 7,000 block of Highway 80, 7980 of Greenwood Road, from I think Garrison's Nursery to Calderwood. You know, it's a steep curve there, and it's a telephone pole right in that curve. I think I've been there going on 13 years, and it's been taken out 3 times. And of course, it affects cable also, because that's on the pole also. Could you contact DOTD and see if they can get, you know, like they have those sequential arrows with black showing that curve. It's a very sharp curve. In addition to the fencing and the walls for the Timberline subdivision has been hit too, so that's about 5 times within that accidents have occurred. And that's what it appears to notice. It's so dark when they come around there. You know how they had a little sequential signs. Could you speak? And if you line someone up, I'd like to meet them out there. We could meet them out there and talk with them about it. Okay. As far as the CBO and the NGOs, if there are any individuals here that have concerns with the process of the CBOs and the NGOs, please get me some information relative to your concerns. And that was my intention, to get all these things together. And I have some other things that I'm going to do on behalf of the committee in ample time, and make sure that everyone's concerns are addressed, and hopefully we can resolve a lot of the issues that's been transpiring over the past few years. So if you have an issue relative to the process, get it to me, please, and I'll collaborate all of that, and I'll schedule a meeting, and we'll go from there.
Okay. But this, Commissioner Everson, was a carryover from last year, when I was the chairman, and I asked Attorney Frazier to have this meeting so that they can know what they can and cannot do. So this was already supposed to be scheduled, but it evidently kind of failed out.
Well, there's no need us conflicting and bumping. if that's one of the issues, we're gonna do that. We can do it all in one deal. But give me your concerns now, and we can lump all that together, okay? All right. That's all I have.
Next, we move to the president's report.
I'll defer mine to Thursday.
We have no old business. We move to new business. Authorized introduction of ordinance number 5466 of 2015, amending the budget of estimate and revenues and expenditures of Riverboat Fund for year 2015, provide additional appropriation of $19,000 for urban support services.
Recommend advancing to Thursday.
Second.
Then moved by Commissioner Everson, seconded by Commissioner Bacon. Commissioner Thibodeau.
Yeah, I just want to say that we need to be very careful, or otherwise we're going to have every organization that we cut or left out going to come here and expect to be funded, and we can't possibly do that, because I think we had, what, 3 times as much funding asked for as we had the ability to give. So I just wanted, I don't have any problem with it going to Thursday, but I think we need to be very careful in you know, taking care of the wheel that squeaks the loudest.
Commissioner Bowman.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I don't have a problem with it moving to Thursday either. I just, for the point of information, that's not the only organization that had that had cuts or fell short for this cycle year. You know, it's correct.
Correct. No other comments or questions? Let's vote. That passes 10-0.
Authorized introduction of ordinance number 5467, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for Riverboat Fund, provide an additional appropriation of $20,000 for Robinson's Rescue.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bowman, seconded by Commissioner Lynn. Commissioner Thibodeau.
Ditto.
Okay. No other comments or questions? Let's vote. That passes 10-0.
Authorized introduction of ordinance number 5468 to deem property surplus and authorize the sale of surplus property owned by the Parish of Caddo.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Moved by the chair, second by Commissioner Lynn. I see no questions or comments. Let's vote.
Every time.
That passes 10-0.
Authorized resolution number 11, authorizing Caddo Parish administration to consent to the annexation by the city of Shreveport certain right-of-ways within Caddo Parish.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Dominique, seconded by Commissioner Bowman.
Can I speak real quick?
Yes.
I don't know if anybody, if Jimmy needs to explain this, is fine, but it's my understanding from talking to him that this is just some cleanup issues. Jimmy, can you come up real quick and explain a little bit better? I think it's in Commissioner Cox's district, but it's some issues that we need to clean up, just some house cleaning measures, so that the city of Shreveport will actually be maintaining some roads that
Yeah, these are some road right-of-ways, a portion of them that are completely surrounded by the city of Shreveport. In one case, actually, the city limits at the present time goes to the center of the road for a short distance, and it's just to clear up issues with maintenance on these two portions of right-of-way.
Okay. I see no other comments or questions. That passes 10-0.
Authorized resolution number 12, urging and requesting Congress, while considering the authorization for use of military force against ISIL in Syria and Iraq, to also consider reinstating universal military service.
Recommend moving forward to Thursday.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Everson, seconded by Commissioner Watts. Commissioner Thibodeau.
This is just an updated information. I'm sure that everybody probably didn't hear. The State Department said that all we need to do with ISIL this morning is to offer them jobs, and everything will be hunky-dory.
Jobs.
Okay.
So, if we just go
Commissioner
over there
Escudero.
and offer them jobs, we don't need a military force.
All right, Commissioner Escudero.
I know y'all probably won't believe this, but I'm not sure what universal service means, so could the author of the responser explain it, please?
Basically, that's talking about reinstituting the draft, 18 to 25 years of age. Enter that into the discussion of military action.
Well, they already registered for the draft at 18, is that not true?
Selective service is still in place, that's correct.
And this suggests that they go ahead and start drafting people?
Right, that they discuss in the equation of military force that the possibility of enacting the draft. Because right now, our reserves and our National Guard and our active military is just taxed to the hilt. Multiple deployments, 3, 4, and 5 times in combat situation, decimating families, exacerbating severe economic and mental problems throughout society. So if we're gonna enact legislation or authorize the existing forces to continually go into battle, it needs to be fair and equitable. We need to have a little more, as somebody used to always say, a little more skin in the game by a little of everybody. Make it fair and equitable.
It seems, this is a tough issue. Right now, we seem to have voluntary hardship, struggle, misery, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and now we're going to kind of make it mandatory. That's a tough one. Thanks for the explanation.
Okay.
Commissioner Epperson.
We made it mandatory in World War II. We made it mandatory in Vietnam era. I mean, that's just the facts of it. Maybe if we talk about it, we'll do a little more diplomacy instead of a lot of saber rattling and want to go in and send our men and women on the ground. It's just not fair. If we're going to continually go out and fight for things, not only for the United States, but in other foreign countries. Even these countries, foreign countries, don't provide a lot of people to do the thing that our people do. I just think it's inherently fair that a handful of people, and we continuously tax our military and our reserve units as we do. Further exacerbating the problem, we got so many things on the domestic fronts, weather-related and things of that nature. Let's put that on the table. While Congress is talking about boots on the ground somewhere and wanting to fight everybody that come along, let's make it fair.
Right. That's the need to go first.
Finish?
Yes, sir.
All right, Commissioner Dominique.
Commissioner Epperson, I was just sitting there looking at that, and it doesn't say that they have to reinstate the draft. It says to consider reinstating the draft, which I guess your comments were to at least put that on the table to let them
Let
look
them
at it.
talk about it. So they, it appears as though nobody really want to talk about it. Let's put it in the dialogue.
I have nothing further.
All right. No other questions or comments? Let's vote. That passes 10-0.
Authorize resolution number 13 to temporarily relocate polling place for precincts number 41 and 111 from Bilberry Recreational Park to Lakeshore Middle School.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Been moved by the chair, seconded by Commissioner Dominique. See no questions or comments, let's vote. That passes 10-0.
Authorize special resolution of accommodation to Mr. Kenneth Brissett, Jr.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner White, seconded by Commissioner Bowman. As the maker, you would like to say something?
Yes,
Go ahead.
You want to say something?
He's already made the motion.
No, let's vote. I guess you is making the motion, he's seconding it, so.
Right.
Thank you.
That passes 10-0. Down to next item, Mr. Clerk.
Consent agenda.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, sir.
LB, you moving along like me now.
Somebody down there with
Process, I guess that's
We'd have been 10, 15 minutes earlier.